in a quiet laboratory in London. A single image revealed a secret hidden inside every living thing. It was not gold. It was not a government blueprint. It was something far more valuable. A clue to one of nature's greatest mysteries. Years later, 3 men would step onto a stage in Stockholm, would accept the Nobel Prize for one of the greatest scientific discoveries of the 20th century. The structure of DNA, the blueprint of life itself. But the scientist whose work helped unlock that mystery was not standing on that stage. Her name was Rosalind Franklin. And for decades, the world remembered the discovery more than the woman behind it. Long before the world knew her name, Rosalind Franklin had already earned a reputation as one of Britain's most talented scientists. She was not searching for fame. She was searching for evidence. Every experiment had to be precise. Every observation had to be supported by facts. In science, assumptions meant nothing. Only proof mattered. To most people, these images were only patterns of light and shadow. But Rosalind saw something different. She saw information, hidden clues, waiting to reveal one of nature's greatest secrets. Across the scientific world, a race had quietly begun. Researchers in Britain, Europe, and the United States were all asking the same question. How does DNA store the instructions for life? Whoever answered it first would forever change biology, medicine, and our understanding of ourselves. Inside laboratories, every photograph, every calculation, and every experiment could bring someone one step closer to the answer. Rosalind Franklin was one of those scientists. But unlike many others, she refused to guess. She would only follow the evidence. In the race to understand DNA, there was more than one way to search for the truth. Some scientists began with ideas, then looked for evidence to support them. Rosalind Franklin believed the opposite. The evidence had to come first. Every photograph, every measurement, every calculation had to earn its place. For Rosalind, science was not about being first. It was about being right. Months of careful experiments, countless adjustments, and extraordinary patience had led to this moment. As the photographic plate was developed, an unmistakable pattern began to appear. A pattern unlike anything seen before. To most people, it looked like little more than a collection of blurred lines, but to an experienced crystallographer, it revealed something extraordinary. Hidden within those faint shadows, you see unmistakable signature of a helix. Rosalind Franklin had captured one of the most important scientific images ever recorded. She simply did not know it yet. Scientific discoveries are rarely made by one person alone. They are shaped by ideas, collaboration, and sometimes misunderstanding. At King's College, Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins are assigned to the same research project. But they had never been given the same understanding of their roles. Rosalind believed she was leading the DNA research. Wilkins believed they were meant to work together. From the very beginning, something was not quite right. Early in 1953, the course of the DNA story changed. James Watson traveled from Cambridge to King's College. During his visit, Maurice Wilkins showed him one of Rosalind Franklin's diffraction photographs. It lasted only a few moments, but those few moments would alter the history of science. Rosalind Franklin was not there. She never knew the photograph had been shown. Back in Cambridge, the pieces finally began to fit together. Years of research, countless experiments, and evidence gathered by several scientists are pointing toward the same answer. The diffraction patterns, the chemical measurements, the molecular models, all told the same story. DNA was not a random chain. It was a double helix, a structure elegant enough to explain how life could faithfully copy itself. Generation after generation, one of the final pieces had come from Rosalind Franklin's laboratory. In April 1953, the scientific world received news of a discovery that would transform biology forever. 3 papers appeared in the journal Nature. Together, they revealed the structure of DNA. The discovery was presented as a collective achievement, but outside scientific circles, The story became simpler. The names most often remembered were James Watson and Francis Crick. The experimental evidence that helped make the discovery possible, including Rosalind Franklin's careful X-ray analysis, slowly faded from public memory. After the DNA controversy, Rosalind Franklin did not step away from science. She moved to Birkbeck College, where she began a new chapter of her research. Away from the intense competition surrounding DNA, she found a place where collaboration and discovery could flourish. Her focus shifted from the molecule of life to another mystery of biology, viruses, using the same precision that defined her DNA research. Rosalind revealed important details about viral structures. Her work helped advance the understanding of viruses and influenced generations of scientists who followed. In 1956, Rosalind Franklin received devastating news. She had ovarian cancer. The treatments were difficult, the surgeries exhausting. Yet, whenever her strength returned, she went back to the laboratory. Not because anyone expected her to, because science was where she belonged. Even as her health declined, her curiosity never did. She continued publishing, mentoring young scientists, and searching for answers. Until the very end. On April 16, 1958, Rosalind Franklin died in London. She was only 37 years old. 4 years after Rosalind Franklin's death, the world celebrated one of the greatest scientific discoveries of the 20th century in Stockholm. James Watson, Francis Crick, and Maurice Wilkins received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for their work on the structure of DNA. The Nobel Prize Committee recognized the achievement that transformed biology forever. But Rosalind Franklin was not there. She had died in 1958. At only 37 years old, the Nobel Prize is never awarded after death. Yet the evidence she produced, and the discoveries she helped make possible, continued to shape science for generations. Some discoveries change science. Some scientists change the people who will shape its future. Rosalind Franklin did both.